The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And a very pleasant good Thursday evening to you. Welcome inside another edition of Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Chris Bergen here in Florence. Pat Daniel back home in Columbia. Phil Kornblut to join us here in just a couple of moments. On opening day of the Major League Baseball season, we have finally arrived. We get the first crack at the bats here today, and it's also the first round of the Masters tournament, which normally doesn't have to worry about any competition after the Final Four. Usually baseball has already started and no pomp and circumstance. So be curious to see which way people are leaning, Pat. Is it a bigger day if you're a baseball fan, or is it a bigger day if you're a golf fan? I guess the answer is obvious there, because if you're a golf fan, you're probably paying attention to the Masters. But overall, in the landscape of sports, how much has Major League Baseball upset you over the years, and especially going through the lockout, which at least at one point in time we thought would cancel the entire season? Fortunately, we're not there. Braves set to play a little bit later on tonight. They'll unfurl their World Series banner and do so without Freddie Freeman on the roster this season. If you'd like to be a part of the program, we've got a very, very busy show. 888-898-2525. Again, 888-898-2525 is our lucky number on the Sports Talk Lottery line that you can get in touch with us here this evening. We will catch up with B.J. Mackey, former South Carolina great, also an assistant with Wake Forest. Chat with him just after 6:30 to get his take on the hiring of Lamont Paris, and he was certainly in the mix. And how frustrated was he, and is he, about maybe not landing the job with the Gamecocks? We'll also be on the ground at the Masters, wall-to-wall coverage. Don Williams set to join us again tonight, as is MJ Ward. We'll get their take on the first round. Tiger Woods in his first competitive round in a long time. First competitive round, and he was awfully good today. Shot a 71 1 under par. That's about 5 shots off the pace. We'll get you a complete Masters rundown here in just a couple of moments. And also, on the tap today, we may talk a little baseball if we can. So looking forward to that as well. I understand Phil has finally arrived to grace us with his presence after an extremely long night up in Charlotte and Corn. Where was that Gamecock baseball team, and where has it been? 15 runs last night in a blowout of the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I mean, just been a crazy baseball season when you think about it. They're 14-14, yet they've got 2 wins over Texas. They've got 2 wins over Vanderbilt. They beat a ranked North Carolina team last night. Now, you take midweek games with a grain of salt, because both ways you're not using your top-line pitching. But North Carolina's second-level pitching was terrible. South Carolina's second-level pitching was really good last night. They swung the bats extremely well. They played some good defense, had a couple of errors, but, I mean, they had a change-up at short last night, and that might have contributed to that. But I tell you what they did turn. They turned a 3-6-1 double play, Chris. That's not easy to do at any level, and they did it. They did it well. But I want to get back to the Masters, and I was thinking today, this being Thursday, the first day of the Masters, what day is tougher on the working man or lady? The opening round, the opening day of the NCAA men's tournament, or the first day of the Masters? Trying to watch and work, trying to watch those events and get your work done at the same time. It's nearly impossible.
Well, I think golf is a little bit easier to sort of have on in the background. You can go away and look back up 5 minutes from now, and there's not been a whole lot of changes on the leaderboard for the most part. I'm not sure you can do that. For me, it's always been the NCAA tournament. That's why I usually took Thursday and Friday off, because I'm going home at noon, and I'll see you guys on Monday, because you've got to go watch the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. I get your point. And now, as I mentioned at the outset, Phil, we also throw in opening day of Major League Baseball. Never had to worry about that competing with the Masters up until this year. So not the full-fledged, we have 7 games, I think, today on opening day. So a little anticlimactic after what was a tumultuous offseason. But, yeah, interesting. I guess the easy answer to your question is, if you're a diehard basketball fan, the NCAA tournament. If you're a diehard golf fan, it's the Masters.
Yeah. They're all tough. It's hard to work when you got this kind of great stuff going on. And, of course, today it was the drama that is Tiger Woods, no matter what he's doing, no matter where he's playing. It could be the Masters or it could be the John Deere Classic. He's going to have the world watching him, and the world was watching him today, and he delivered. I mean, I know there are others ahead of him, but it's a very tight leaderboard with a few groupings left to come in on the second nine. But, Cameron Smith, Sung J M, and Dustin Johnson. I mean, can't overlook Dustin Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they are all at 4 under. Smith is in. M and Johnson are still playing. Former champion Danny Willits is at 3. Joaquin Neiman is at 3 under. Scotty Scheffler, favorites of many, a favorite of many, is at 3 under. Will Zalatoris, who seems to play really well there at Augusta, he's at 3 under on the course. Kokrak is at 2 under after a 70. Corey Connors is on the course at 2 under. Brooks Koepka is on the course at 2 under. Then you get to the 1 under par players. There's Tiger Woods, a 1 under 71. Had to roll in a nice little putt on 18 to preserve the under par score. Had a nice birdie on 16, I think it was, to get him back to under par. So he's right there. Daniel Berger is 1 under. Kevin Na, 1 under. Harry Higgs, 1 under. They are all at 71. And then you've got Tony Finau in at 71. Lee Westwood's on the course. Webb Simpson on the course at 1 under. Matthew Fitzpatrick at 1 under par. So you have got 18 golfers under par at this point in the opening round of the Masters, and the lead's only right now at 4 under par. So it's really tight leaderboard. The weather got better. The course conditions, I guess, got better as the day moved on. Now, things are going to be a little dicey tomorrow. Really strong winds are expected. And then Saturday, cold temperatures, like in the upper 50s. And then, of course, nice weather on Sunday. So we'll see who can handle the weather conditions and on moving day tomorrow, be in the hunt for making the weekend and be in the hunt for the championship. Roy McIlroy is even through 10 holes today. Bubba Watson is even through 15. Lucas Glover is even after a 72. In fact, let me take a look at the leaderboard of the local guys or the people that we normally follow. I've mentioned many of them, but let's see. Russell Henley is 1 over through 16. Sergio Garcia is 1 over through 14. Colin Morikawa +1 through 12. John Rahm +1 through 12. Adam Scott, and even make that a 2 over par 74. Patrick Reed is 2 over through 15. Tommy Fleetwood a 75. Kevin Kisner, for him, I'm sure a disappointment, 3 over 75. Bryson DeChambeau, 4 over 76. Justin Thomas, favorite of a lot of people prior to the tournament, 4 over 76. And I always like to see who's down at the bottom. Some of the older fellers who are, in because they've won it before and they get in, they continue to play. Sandy Lyle, a 10 over 82. He's at the bottom of the board. Amateur Laird Shepherd, +9, 81 for him. Another amateur James Pyatt, 9 over par, 81 for him. Matthew Wolff, not an amateur, an accomplished pro, but he struggled, 9 over 81. 2 more AMs, Aaron Jarvis, an 81, and Stuart Hagstad, a 79. BJ Singh, 6 over 78 for him. Francesco Molinari did not have a good day, 6 over 78 for him. Larry Mize, a former champion, 5 over 77. Another former champion, Jose Maria Alazabal, 5 over 77. Don Williams, personal favorite. Bernhard Langer, 4 over 76. He matched Justin Thomas.
The ageless wonder.
Louis Oosthuizen, playing with Tiger, 4 over 76 today. Stuart Sink, defending champion of the Heritage, and 4 over 76 for him. We'll go more into detail on the day at Augusta from both Don and MJ in our second hour. You mentioned B.J. Mackey coming up at 6:35. Looking forward to that, which leads me to one of the big stories of the day is that Lamont Paris, the new USC basketball coach, announced the hiring of Kerry Rich as a special assistant to the head coach today, Chris. So smart move by him. Now, Kerry kind of had this position in some ways ex officio, I guess you would say, with Frank Martin. He was very close to the program with Frank Martin, was around the program quite a bit. Not part of the program as a coach or assistant or anything. He's just a close friend and advisor to Frank Martin his entire time at South Carolina, and no doubt did everything he could within his powers in his role to help out with Frank Martin, especially around the city of Columbia and with the high schools and the players in this area, whatever he could do, along with his real job, which has been working with the city of Columbia. But now that changes. He becomes an actual member of the staff, a guy with deep ties to the USC program. I see this as nothing but a positive for Lamont Paris to help him ingratiate himself to the Gamecock community.
I think it's a genius hire, and Pat tells me I've got some issue with my microphone, so I apologize. We'll get that fixed at the break. But just commenting on Kerry, I'm not sure you could plug into a better resource in terms of South Carolina basketball than Kerry Rich. I mean, if there's anybody, and we've had him on the Sports Talk program many, many times, but if there is anyone who knows high school basketball and college basketball in our state better than Kerry Rich, I'd like to speak with him, because he is in his role. They say he's going to be involved in alumni relations, community outreach, and also recruiting. And I think those three are critically important for USC basketball, especially for a guy like Lamont Paris, who doesn't have a whole lot of ties down here, Phil, and he's going to have to find a way to get into some of those homes and visit with some of the top players here in our state. And Kerry, I think, will be the conduit to that. And I just think that is as good a hire as he possibly could have made in a position that's maybe not that first chair next to him on the bench. But I think Kerry will do a terrific job in that role.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody loves the captain.
No doubt.
Even Clemson fans love the captain. I know Clemson people that love the captain because he's just, beyond the fact that he was a terrific basketball player, he's just a great guy. He's
really
just
is
a great guy, and I've known him for years. In fact, I think I was maybe I was the one back in the day to break his story about transferring from Western Carolina to South Carolina when he did. He was the Southern Conference Freshman of the Year. He had played at C.A. Johnson High School. There's a story about how he ended up at Western Carolina that he could tell one day if he ever wants to. But he always felt like he was a higher level player than a Southern Conference player. And Eddie Fogler had just taken over at South Carolina, and he wanted to come back home and play at a higher level, and they needed players. So they brought Kerry in as a transfer, had to sit out a year. There was no transfer portal, John, back then. Had to do it the old-fashioned way. Sat out a year and then, became a really good player, leader of that Gamecock team, one of the best playmaking guards that South Carolina has had. You look at the record books, his name is in there. So one more quick note, we'll get to the break so you can adjust your microphone. You do have a setting off there. There is a story.
I've had a lot of settings off. You've been, folks don't know, but Phil went through an issue with his computer a couple of weeks back. I think it has migrated here east, and it's hit me today. I spent 2.5 hours dealing with this thing today, so
I hope you don't
I'll
go
get
through
it fixed.
what I went through.
I'll get it fixed.
I went through hell on earth with mine, I'm telling you. You realize how dependent you are on these machines.
No doubt.
But apparently, Deebo Samuel has removed the 49ers profile picture from his Instagram. He's unfollowed the team and deleted over 80 posts from his account. This is according to Ari Myrov of PFF. Now, could this mean something or could it mean nothing at all? You never know what social media things mean, but maybe it means something. So I would say, Packers, go get him. You need a receiver. You need help at wide receiver. Do what you have to do.
There are 31 other teams in the NFL that could use a Deebo Samuel. So you guys aren't alone in that regard. And I'm thinking one up the road from us in Charlotte that desperately needs a playmaker. So, bring him home, Panthers. Bring him home.
Well, Green Bay is closer to Inman than San Francisco is. So that'd be part the way home.
That's true.
You can bring him part the way home. All right, let's go to the break. And what'd you make of the alleged comments, as the Braves begin to open their season? Ronald Acuna making some comments in Spanish, I guess. It was in a podcast in Spanish. And he is denying some of the things that allegedly is on video of him saying. I don't know if you followed this story or not, but I don't know. Is there trouble in paradise with the Braves, Freddie Freeman, and others? Back after the break.
The lady in black doesn't age.
always ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Lawson, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dream. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to FutureScholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. FutureScholar.com.
There was just a lack of Black women, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. Growing up, I didn't see that. I figured out that I wanted to be a photographer for women of color. I found my niche and I'm sticking to it.
Each year, the South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars for scholarships and grants that help students prepare for their dream career, just like Kristen. Your passion is our purpose.
With us, 888-898-2525 is our number. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to Sports Talk. And since 2002, more than $572 million in lottery proceeds have been used to fund Palmetto Fellow scholarships for the state's college-bound students. You can learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/education. Wins and playing for fun is a win for education. So we're going to keep you on top of what's happening at the Masters as they come down the stretch, day number one. And now was he at 4 before? Now he's at 5.
No, he was at 5 when you were running through the scoreboard.
Okay, so he was at 5. Yeah.
Yeah, two guys that I found interesting. How about Cameron Smith? You look at his round. Started with a double bogey on 1 and finished with a double bogey on 18. Here's a guy who should theoretically be at 8 under par. Instead, he's at 4. And then you also look at what Tiger Woods did today. He's in his heyday, he just beat down the par 5s at Augusta. And I think today he was even par on those 4 par 5s. That's not going to get it done for anybody.
No, but you know what?
There.
I'm sure he's got to be thinking, I went under par and I did nothing on the par 5s.
That's a good point.
So I think for him mentally, that's a victory. Now, a lot will depend on how he feels. Overnight after walking, but it looked like he was smiling as he was walking off the course, as he was heading up towards to sign his card. And I didn't notice much of a limp or anything like that. He was waving to the patrons and smiling. So looks like everything's in place for him. I think he feels like the tiger in the hen house, no pun intended there, because anything under par, around par on Thursday is good. You can't, what do they say? You can't win the Masters on Thursday, but you sure can lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And he certainly put himself in position to be able to win it without having to make some humongous jump tomorrow. So I think he's got to feel very, very good about things. Taking a look at Dustin Johnson's card to this point, as he is having a good day. He birdied number 2, number 7, and he birdied number 9. And then he also birdied number 10. And he is 4 under par as he plays the par 5 13th right now. So he's having a very good day at this point, and probably right on his game and feeling good about things. And you talk about Tiger's Day, and we take a look at his card. And you mentioned the par 5s, and of course that's obviously huge there. And a big reason that you win the tournament is that you do well on the par 5s at Augusta. He birdied number 6. He bogeyed number 8, so he made the turn at even par. He birdied 13. He bogeyed 14. Told you about the birdie on 16. He rolled. Boy, 16 is just so magical for him. Rolled it in on 16, and then equally important, had to make a par putt on 18. He had to lay up. If I remember, I was kind of halfway watching it because I was busy trying to get ready for the show and get downtown. I think he had to perhaps lay up on 18 for some reason. I think maybe his tee shot was in kind of a bad place, but he rolled in that putt on 18. And, that's, I'm sure in his mind, is a big difference between even par and 1 under, considering it's his first round in over 500 days or something.
Yeah, he has not played since that automobile accident that nearly cost him his life back in February of last year. So you're talking 14 months off. And for him to step on that golf course and be one under, I think you're right. I think he's got to be thrilled with what he rolled out today. He's going to be disappointed because this is a guy who didn't show up just to be a sidebar story. He anticipates, and he actually said it as much earlier this week, that he feels like he can win. He's not going to win if he goes even par on the par fives all week. He's just not going to.
All right, let's get to the phones. We go to Andy in Columbia. First up on Sports Talk tonight. Andy, welcome in. Good to have you with us.
Good evening, Corn.
Hey.
I hope you're doing well today.
Doing fine.
Start of the greatest day of the year in Major League Baseball, 7 o'clock tonight. My New York Mets with McGilla as their number one pitcher. What more could I ask for?
Enjoy the first of many butt kickings.
Oh, yeah, right. I can't wait till the Subway Series so we can spank you again this year.
And we never win that. That's not the series we aim for. That's not – it might be important to Mets fans. It's really
obvious.
Not important to us.
That's very obvious.
Yeah, we have bigger fish to fry, my man, bigger fish.
A few questions for you, Mr. Corn. Remember I asked you last week about the two commitments, the welcome homes that never, were those the two that we heard this past weekend, or are there still two out there? Football.
I think there's still two out there. There was one. Now let's see.
The preferred walk-on committed.
Oh no! I don't.
Wide receiver.
Right. The wide receiver accounted for one of them. I don't believe he tweets out walk-on commitments. I don't think that is what he accounts for.
So you think he got the commitment from the kid from Arkansas State before he did all the rest of his trips?
Yes, I think he did. Okay. Yeah, the timing just, the tweet came right after the official visit. And after that official visit, he went out to Utah State because his former coach and some former assistant coaches were there just to give them, to pay them their respect. But I think that was done. And he just, as soon as he wrapped that up, took a little time, he decided to go ahead and commit.
Okay, because I thought he was going to bring Mom here and let her see the campus during the spring game.
They're coming for the spring game, but I think he already, knew where he wanted to go. And his dad has signed off on it too. So.
Okay. A couple other quick things. Do you happen to know who the Board of Trustees contracts they're going to be approving tomorrow, who these people are?
Well, I think one, I'm assuming maybe Kerry Rich is one, and maybe he is hiring one of his coaches, if not more of his coaches, from UT Chattanooga, I think. There's one coach in particular. I'm not going to guess at his name. I'm going to look it up here if I can look it up real quick.
While you're doing that, what's going to happen to the Pro-Am? Because Kerry's not going to be able to do that anymore.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, Kerry would have to answer that. I would think that in his situation, he could not do it. He could maybe turn it over to somebody else. Somebody else could take it over if they want to do all the work. A lot of work in that thing. Mm-hmm. If not, he may have to go bye-bye.
The Corn-Am.
I like that.
You want me to take it over?
Yeah, you and Chris.
The Corn-Am. I can get behind that.
Chris, were you getting comfortable in that seat yesterday? Because if we all get lucky, you won't be run off like the rest of them were that were waiting for Corn to kick over.
Corn has outlasted a lot better people than me, Andy. So I would not hold my breath.
Yeah. Did you find that out for me there, Mr. Corn?
Well, I'm looking. Now, let's see. Eddie Shannon and let's see.
Because Kerry can't recruit off campus.
Yeah, Eddie Shannon and Tanner Bronson are the two assistant coaches from the previous staff at Chattanooga that I've heard the most about. So I'm thinking one or both of them, and maybe even Kerry's deal. Of course, the Board of Trustees doesn't have to sign off on contracts under $250,000. Now, if Kerry's making more than that, they have to address it. Be right back after the break.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We're cooler this evening with a low dropping down to 47. Tomorrow, sunny but breezy. The high getting up to 67. Now for Saturday, we do get the sunshine, but much cooler temperatures. High of only 59. And Saturday night, the low in the upper 30s. Sunday looks wonderful with sunshine-filled skies and a high of 68. I'm Kevin Cohn with your On Point local weather. When you think about spring, good stuff springs to mind. You know, like spring break. Woohoo! A friend springing for drinks. Thanks, dude. A spring in your step. Spring fever. Oh, behave. And best of all, spring water dough pizza from the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Yeah, baby. Experience the taste of spring with our amazing hand-tossed pies, spring fresh salads, and over 100 beers from around the world. Enjoy spring at the Mellow Mushroom in the Vista and on Sunset in Lexington.
You aren't eating the healthy food you want to eat. Between work, family life, and the general day-to-day events, there just isn't time to do more than hit the drive-thru on your way home. And fast food always seems to leave you feeling lethargic and just missing out on the vital nutrition you get from fresh fruits and vegetables. That's why Balance of Nature exists. Balance of Nature was developed to help combat the unhealthy lifestyle that seems to permeate throughout America. Balance of Nature takes a nutritious blend of 31 different fruits and vegetables, puts them through an advanced cold vacuum process, grinds them up, and delivers them right to your door. You can get all the recommended servings of fruits and vegetables into your diet in just a few seconds without worrying about buying, storing, and preparing them. Eat better and feel better by going to balanceofnature.com and be sure to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code BALANCE.
If you're like me, you're sick and tired of seeing these old TV stars, game show hosts, these athletes telling you how to save money on your Medicare and on your health insurance. These national toll-free numbers are overwhelming us. It's not that people don't need the service. They need good local customer service, not big box toll-free numbers. See, I work directly with Tim Hanberry right here at Medicare Blueprints in the Midlands. When it comes to my family, I want the best family plan. I'm not even on Medicare, but my mom is, so here's what I do want. Someone local to serve as my advisor on the plans and choices that I have, and someone to help mom with her Medicare. I want someone to help me pick the right plan, save me as much money as possible by knowing all the rules of the game. Medicare Blueprint starts the process with you. They will see it through. They answer all your questions. They call you back. It's the same folks helping you start to finish. Tim and his team are independent. They fight for you, not the insurance company. Online, it's MedicareBlueprint.com or call them 708-7398.
When you're a military veteran with over 40,000 organizations trying to help you, it can be hard to find the right information. That's why AARP brings together valuable resources to help you navigate your options. AARP.org/veterans. With the free veteran employment and fraud prevention resources, caregiving tools, and access to discounts, AARP, on a mission to support veterans. Visit AARP.org/veterans today.
Hi, honey. Were you able to drop by Tree Pharmacy today to pick up Mom's medications?
Yes, she sure is on a lot of meds.
I know. That's why I go over so often to help make sure she's taking them correctly.
Well, I have great news. The pharmacist at Tree Pharmacy said he can pre-pack her medications into individual doses.
Wow. Knowing she's taking the right meds at the right time will give me great peace of mind. But how much does it cost?
That's the even better part. It's free. Just another great service they offer at True Pharmacy. True Pharmacy, 2 locations, Charleston Highway in West Columbia and Devine Street downtown.
You know what? I get asked every now and then, Kev, when you say my guy, do you really have a my guy at Palmetto Exterminators? Oh, I really do. Ron Byers is my guy. Do you realize I've been a customer of Palmetto Exterminators for 20 years this summer? That's over the course of 3 homes, longer than my kids have been around. I'm loyal to Palmetto Exterminators for several reasons. First, they do a phenomenal job with pest control for a very fair price. It's just not a concern around my home. They take care of everything from regular visits to termite inspection, mosquito catch. This is a company that's been around for more than 60 years serving the Midlands. When they come around, they're clean, they're courteous, and they're on time. Look, it's not just me. When it comes to things like those pesky mosquitoes, Palmetto Exterminators voted Best of Columbia in Columbia Metropolitan for their mosquito control. I could have told you that before anyone even voted. What else can you possibly need from your pest control company? If you're looking for someone to help you, look no further than my guy, Ron Byers, Palmetto Exterminators. Online, it's palmettoexterminators.net or call them 254-5833, 254-5833.
In the sports world. Opening of the Major League season, opening of the Masters. We got college baseball weekend activity beginning tonight. No Mike Morgan tonight because he's on the call of a baseball game, but we got big weekend series coming up: South Carolina, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame, others across the state. We've got the spring game at Clemson tomorrow afternoon. Saturday afternoon at 1:00. South Carolina will have another big scrimmage on Saturday. Got the race at Martinsville this weekend. It's a glorious time to be a sports fan. There's just so much to chew on and so little time to digest it all. Let me give you a quick glance again at the Masters leaderboard. And right now it is still Sung Jae In at 5 under. He's on 17. Cameron Smith is in at 4 under. And Dustin Johnson through 14 remains at 4 under with a clean card, 4 birdies, no bogeys. And they are at the top of the leaderboard. And if you didn't hear, you'd have to be dead not to have heard it, but Tiger Woods shot a 71 at 1 under par. Well, a couple of weeks ago when South Carolina was going through is basketball search, one of the names that we talked about quite a lot, that of former Gamecock star, the all-time leading scorer, B.J. Mackey. He was right there in the hunt for the job at the Gamecocks. Didn't happen, but he is still happily and gainfully employed at Wake Forest, and no doubt will have his own program one day. And back a couple of weeks ago, we talked with B.J. and asked him to come on the program. He wanted to wait a little while to do so, and tonight's a good night to do it. In fact, it's the beginning of the live period in basketball recruiting, so he's getting out and about. But he joins us now here on Sports Talk. B.J., good evening. How are you, sir?
Everything's good. Good to be here.
It is great to have you with us. Hope everything with you and the family going well. And how is Justin doing as he's moved on in his professional life?
Justin's doing fine. He's a supervisor over drivers over at UPS, and he's trying to get into the refereeing world.
The who?
The refereeing world.
Wait a minute.
So he'd be yelled at by his dad.
You never, as I recall, you never met a referee that you could stand.
I like all the referees now.
Oh, okay. I hear you. That's great. Fantastic. Well, good luck on that. Hey, we appreciate you taking time out to be with us. Can you tell us what it was like for you going through the process with Ray Tanner in South Carolina, your alma mater, a job that no doubt you dearly wanted, the interview and all that? What was that like for you?
It was a good process. Of course, I went through the process with Presbyterian years ago, but things have changed, and it was a really good interview. I think I did it really well to get myself in contention to get the job. It just didn't go my way, and I thought I was well prepared. It was pretty professional throughout the whole way.
What kind of things, if you can share with us, that you and Ray Tanner talked about when y'all got together, like your vision of the program? I'm sure he asked you things like that. What kind of vision did you lay out for him under a B.J. Mackey regime?
My foundation for success. I think my foundation for success has helped me through college, high school, and now being a college basketball coach, which has to do with passion, integrity, respect, discipline, and toughness.
Does it hurt? I mean, people think when you go after a job at your alma mater that it's almost like an automatic thing, like the school owes you something because of what you gave to the school. When I say you, I'm talking in general terms, but obviously you gave a lot to South Carolina over your career as an athlete and as a student. Was there a feeling from you at all that maybe there was some kind of, they owed you a little something for what you gave? How did you view the attempt to get the job?
Nothing's ever owed. Nothing's ever owed to you in life in general. I appreciate all the support that really came out and rallied around me. I had to get off of social media for about a week, but people were still texting and calling, and it felt real good to feel respected and from some people say they admired me throughout the years. It felt real good that everybody, especially around Columbia, around the state of South Carolina, had my back.
Was there ever a point when you thought to yourself, I'm going to get this?
Well, the biggest thing, the biggest elephant in the room, of course, was me not having any head coaching experience. But we see a lot of coaches that have had no coaching experience, even one in Hubert Davis who went to the national championship. And, you know, you got Coach Beamer there with no head coaching experience, and Coach Tanner didn't even have any head coaching experience when he got the job at North Carolina State. But when you had guys like Coach Miller and McMahon and you know, other coaches get knocked off by pretty much them choosing other schools, I said, I got a fighting chance.
Mm-hmm. Talking with B.J. Mackey, former Gamecock great. When they gave you the news, how did you react to it when you learned that it wasn't going to be you?
Well, I actually found out just like you guys. I found out on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I was disappointed, of course, but at the same time, I got a great job, a great boss where I'm at. We're winning and going to continue to win, and that's how I took it. The job just wasn't meant for me. The cars weren't meant for me. But bigger things are ahead for BJ Mack.
Did Coach Tanner ever call you to tell you in person, BJ, I've gone another direction, or have y'all talked since?
He called me the day after it happened, which I'd already know that it went to another in a different direction. Just explained to me it was a hard decision, but at the end of the day, he thought it was best that he gave Coach Chandler, Coach Paris, the job.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you've coached against Coach Paris, have you not, from your days at East Tennessee?
Oh yeah, we've had many battles.
What was it? What's it like going up against him? What kind of coach do you think the Gamecocks are getting?
I think they're getting a good coach. I think he'll be prepared. He's going to the tournament. He's got experience with being in the tournament from being in Wisconsin. We had great success against him. We were undefeated against him in our 3 years there against. But I do think they're getting a good man, a good coach. I think he's going to be demanding on the floor, and I'm gonna be behind him 100%. I want to see him do well. That's how it is. That's how it is in the coaching world. Yep. You know, I mean, you're going to be up for some jobs. You're going to lose some jobs to some guys that you know. You're going to get jobs against guys that you know. But at the end of the day, you want everybody to succeed and do well.
I guess maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't heard, but his first hire that they announced today was Kerry Rich. In a, did you hear that?
I called and congratulated Kerry. I thought it was well overdue. Kerry's done tremendous jobs for the community, for the state, especially for Columbia area. I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, he goes from being the captain to the coach. You know, which I'm sure it's been one of his dreams to get this opportunity. I'm sure, and we'll see where it goes. You feel like you got to become a head coach somewhere at a lower level, you think, before you can land an SEC, ACC, the so-called Power 5 type program. Have you got to get a head coaching job at a lower level first, you think?
Possibly, and if I have to do that, I mean, I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to be successful in whatever program feels confident in me and has faith in me to give me that opportunity. For sure. I mean, a lot of your prominent coaches start your low major, mid major. I'm coaching with one right now, Coach Forbes, and he's been one of the hottest coaches in the country for years. Mm-hmm. And he started at East Tennessee State, built that program into one of the best mid majors in America, and propelled itself to an ACC job. So if that's something I have to do, I'll be more than willing to do that.
What'd you think about the move of Larry Davis to the head coach at Mars Hill?
Oh man, Larry does a tremendous job. I've seen him build that program at York Prep, let alone what he's done in the past with Louisville and Northwestern. Me and Larry keep in touch on a regular basis. To see that he's now in the coaching ranks, and I talked to him the other day, and he asked me certain things and certain advice. And I just pretty much told Larry, hey, you're coaching at the college level, but you're still going to do the same things that you did in high school. You just got to be yourself. Mm-hmm. And Larry's a winner. He's a competitor. he's going to do fine, and he's in a very, very good league in the SAC. They're a very good league. They have 2 or 3 teams that represent the SAC in the national tournament on a yearly basis. It's a very good competitive league.
Mm-hmm. Wake Forest assistant men's basketball coach B.J. Mackey, former Gamecock standout, with us here tonight on Sports Talk, chatting about his running for potentially being the new head basketball coach at South Carolina. Will stay at Wake Forest at least for the foreseeable future. And Coach, I'm looking at the season you guys put together at Wake Forest. You win 23 ball games. Normally in the ACC, that's a lot to get into the NCAA tournament. Do you guys feel like maybe the national narrative that your league was down somewhat maybe hurt a team like yours?
Well, it was supposed to be down, but we got 3 teams in the Elite Eight. So I think in the future they will put that definitely down as far as our league wasn't ever down. I think early on our league lost a few games to some teams that they were supposed to win. But at the end of the day, when you go 13-7 in the ACC, which is proven, I mean, when you prove how well your conference is during the NCAA tournament, that's ultimately where you prove it at. And it's proven that once again we were the best conference in America. And we played against high competition night in and night out, despite what people thought. The record of our teams in the NCAA tournament and the results speak for itself. Definitely, we thought we should have got in, for sure.
What was that?
Personally, I don't think any team, whether it been us, any team should get in the NCAA tournament with a losing record in their conference. That makes no sense to me. But at the end of the day, I'm not making those decisions.
Maybe you should. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But what was that conversation like with your team Sunday night when you saw the selection show come down and you guys did not get a berth and you were headed off to the NIT? How difficult a job was it for you guys to get your players back up and raring to go to participate? And ultimately, you guys played well in the NIT, just came up shy of the Final Four up there.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's extremely hard, but it's extremely hard for every team because you got to understand in the NIT, which you guys probably already know, every team that's been in that NIT has either gotten upset if they were a mid-major or a low major, or they were on the bubble. So you basically have to let guys know that everybody's still watching and to prove everybody wrong, that you deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. And our guys responded, and I'm proud of it.
A couple more minutes with B.J. Mackey, South Carolina's all-time leading scorer, one of the greats of the game at South Carolina. Jersey hanging up there in the rafters. How about a statue? We've been talking about statues around here. I guess they're going to have to build one to Aaliyah Boston since, National Player of the Year and going to be the first pick in the draft maybe a couple of years, won a national championship. She'll probably have one go up there next to Asia. How about one of the guys? How about one of you guys getting a statue?
That's not up for me to say or have a debate on who needs to get that. I mean, that would be great. I mean, to have a statue up in front of the Colonial Life Arena and Asia. I know her family very well. She knows Justin. Asia used to come over my house when she was in high school. So I mean, and Leah Boston, she's definitely honorable of having a statue, having a national championship, and being National Player of the Year, and the way she represents herself. And she's an extremely hard worker. She'll be one of the first picks, if not the first pick, in a couple of years. She's definitely deserving of it for sure. I mean, I'm just happy for those girls. I've followed them all the way. They really persevered, and to have that type of season from start to finish to be number one, it's extremely hard to do. That's an outstanding job by Darren Staley and her staff and their whole team.
Well, I would say if they're going to throw statues up there on the guys' side, I mean, I think you got to recall the Roach and Owens and Kevin Joyce, maybe even a Brian Winters, and then, of course, Alex English, Mike Dunleavy, and then you. I think.
Why'd you name my name last?
Well, I'm going by era. I'm going by age, dude. I'm going from way back in the 60s and working my way forward. That's all. Don't take it personal. You weren't last on the list. I'm just going chronologically. Are you still in the hunt for any jobs right now, or are you settled, pretty much settled in and to be back at Wake Forest?
I'm pretty much settled in. I was a finalist with Georgia State a few years ago. I was a finalist. I was in the top two of that. And Jonas did an extremely good job with their head coach, with them parting ways with their head coach, and did a tremendous job with getting his team ready and winning the NIT championship. And he's from Georgia. I thought it was a great hire. I did extremely well with that to get in the finals. But it looks like I'm gonna be a Wake Forest, and I'm gonna be a Demon Deacon, and I'm happy to be one.
Absolutely. Does the league change a whole lot with Krzyzewski gone, or does it stay pretty much the same? I mean, you expect Duke to be Duke per usual?
Oh, for sure. Duke is going to continue to be that train to keep on moving. Coach K definitely put some stuff in place years before he knew that he was going to retire. But no man stops the ACC by any means. I mean, Coach K has done a tremendous job with, transforming basketball in itself, and he's definitely the best to ever do it. But the ACC is going to be the ACC.
Yeah, going back on what Chris said, I mean, I was shocked when you guys didn't get into the tournament with your record and what you guys did in the ACC. And the league proved itself in the postseason. I know they had to be a tough pill to swallow. So where are you off to recruiting-wise now with the live period starting back up today? Are you hitting this area? Or you going somewhere else?
I will be in Orlando this weekend. I'm leaving out tomorrow morning. I'll be in Orlando Friday through Sunday in EYBL Nike.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah, there's a young man from this city is going to be playing in that thing. I think his last name is Jackson. So in case you weren't aware of that, I think he's playing down there. So that's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Before we let you go, I think Pat had a quick question for you as well. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, hey, BJ, just one quick one, and it's purely hypothetical. But with former running mates Melvin Watson at South Point, Larry Davis now moving from York Prep to Mars Hill, I'm putting the cart before the horse here a little bit, but it's still fun to imagine for fans of yours out there, because we all know there's lots of them. Do y'all ever talk about maybe joining forces and coaching together at the college level someday? Like, has that ever been a hypothetical for you guys?
We've talked about it, and it's fun conversation, over a couple beers or something like that, to really talk about and really do something that we did playing and do something as far as coaching. It's fun to actually talk about, and one day it might be something to come in existence for sure.
Yeah, that's a great question. And to follow up, if you can share with us, I mean, had you gotten the South Carolina job, who do you think would have been on your staff?
I'll leave that up to everybody's imagination. I mean, it would have definitely been a couple former Gamecocks. It might even been somebody from Irmo. You don't ever know.
No. Mm-hmm. How much how much are you in touch with Coach Whipple, and how much are you in touch with Coach Vogler?
All the time. Those are my mentors. Those are my mentors for life. And all the former Gamecocks guys who I play with, guys who that played before me, we always in contact. We one huge family.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us. I know it was, again, bittersweet time for you trying to return to your alma mater and making a strong run at that job. But like you said, it will happen. It'll happen at the right place at the right time, and you'll be ready for it. I had to remind people, and I had to look it up myself. I mean, you're not a spring chicken anymore. You're 45. So, I mean, it's not
I
like
just turned 45 today. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, you're right. It's April the 7th. I remember that from Wikipedia. Well, happy birthday.
You didn't even do your research. I was supposed to sing happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday in there somewhere.
BJ, trust me, you do not want to hear us sing you happy birthday.
No, that would not do well. That would break down the whole interview. So, well, happy birthday and good hunting out there recruiting-wise. We thank you as always, and maybe next time we talk to you, it will be as head coach B.J. Mackey of somewhere.
I definitely appreciate it. Always appreciate you guys. You guys are great.
Thank you, B.J.
Thanks,
Great
B.J.
talking to you. All right, my man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, B.J. Mackey. You're right. It is his birthday today. He's
How about
45
that?
years old. Because remember, we were talking during the search, and I pointed out, I said, he's not that young. He spent 13 years playing professional basketball. He's been coaching for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming up on 45. And I knew his birthday was in April, but it slipped by me that it's April the 7th. How about that?
No spring chicken. Boy, it's been a long time since you were in your 40s, hasn't it? Because you would never have said that. Because he's not that much younger than I am, and I feel like a spring chicken.
You're no spring chicken.
Well, that's for sure.
No
but I tell you what,
either,
the way he dodged some of those questions you posed to him, I was thinking, you don't coach at Wake Forest without being really, really smart.
Yeah.
And BJ comes across. I tell you, he had to have knocked the interview out of the ballpark. So I would have loved to have heard, and we may never know. But what separated, and was it simply Lamont Paris has been a head coach and BJ has not? I mean, did it boil down to that? It was that simple for Ray Tanner and his decision.
Sounds that way, but I mean, BJ said some really nice things about Lamont Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Lamont Paris obviously is a quality guy. I think also probably had to weigh heavily on Tanner's mind was Paris's background at Wisconsin and all the success they had in going to the tournament and coaching under those guys there at Wisconsin and learning from them. And then the job he did this year at Chattanooga and getting them to the tournament and nearly pulling off the upset in the opening round. So
see, and that's the problem, though. And I'm not trying to criticize Ray Tanner and his hiring process, but if that's one of the main reasons, look at B.J. Mackey. He coached at a team that went 25-9 this year with 2 wins in the NIT. And you're going to tell me he didn't have tournament experience because some mythical group sat back and waited for the puff of white smoke to decide which 68 teams were worthy of getting in the NCAA tournament, and you leave a team like Wake Forest out? It didn't make no sense.
Yeah.
Now, I realize they struggled on the road, and that probably really hurt them. They were below 500 away from home. But if you ever had to face them in Winston-Salem, you weren't coming out of there with a win.
Well, BJ will be a head coach somewhere.
I agree.
It just depends on what level he can start at. It's probably apparent to him, stepping right into a high-profile ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big 10 job from where he is might be too high of a step. But certainly something opens up around the Southern Conference or the Big South or maybe the CAA even, something like that, or maybe the Sun Belt. I think he could step right into one of those jobs, don't you think?
There's a Hall of Fame coach at Coastal Carolina that's going to be retiring probably in the next couple of years. Would Coastal be a nice landing spot for BJ?
I would say absolutely. And I would say that the athletics director there probably knows BJ pretty well.
I would think so.
So that's a great point. But you just don't know when that's going to happen. And, I mean, he can't afford to sit back and wait on something like that. If he has an opportunity to go somewhere else, like the Georgia State job, obviously he felt like that was a great opportunity or he wouldn't have gone after it as hard as he did.
And it's going to be a good job. And I think Jonas Hayes, probably his ties to Georgia and being an Atlanta native, really probably pushed him over the edge for that job. And they're about to get a brand new basketball facility there as well. So it's another arms race there. And plus, BJ is going to have to go up against a pretty good staff at Coastal. There are going to be a lot of people when Cliff Ellis does finally hang it up. It's going to be like the Duke job. Who wants that job?
I'm sure
I would think there's going to be a lot of people.
You throwing dirt on his grave now, after he got to the finals, to the championship game of the Basketball Classic.
Mention, I kicked the can down the road. He's got to get 900 wins. He's sneaking up on being the all-time winningest coach at Coastal. He's still got some things to do down there before he hangs it up for good.
And guys, if we're throwing out hypotheticals here, I know there's a coach there right now, so this is hypothetical, but if there's ever an opening in the next few years at a certain ACC team in the upstate, do you think he would answer their phone? How would Gamecock fans feel about that?
The question is, would they call him being a Gamecock? Yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough. Thank you to BJ Mackey for joining us here on Sports Talk. We go to the break. Sanjay M. playing the 18th. He's 5 under. Cameron Smith is in at 4 under. Dustin Johnson is on 16, and he is at 4 under. Top of the leaderboard in the Masters. Don Williams coming up.
Way before we do what's supposed to happen here,
thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
W2XL Columbia, W264DF.
Grill, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. Ukraine is appealing to NATO for much more military help as alliance leaders meet in Brussels. Correspondent Charles Ledesma reports.
My agenda is very simple. It has only 3 items on it. It's weapons, weapons, and weapons.
That's Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, adding this is needed so that the war does not spill over further. His words are echoed by EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell.
The important thing is to continue putting pressure on Russia and continue supporting Ukraine.
Ukraine also wants Germany to slash red tape so that more sorely needed supplies can get in. I'm Charles Ledesma.
President Biden says the confirmation of Ketanji Brown Jackson is another step toward making the Supreme Court reflect the diversity of America.
As a presidential candidate, Joe Biden promised to nominate a black woman to sit on the nation's highest court. He and Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson were at the White House together when the Senate voted to confirm her. When she takes her seat this summer, Jackson will be just the 3rd black justice, the 6th woman, and the 1st black woman justice on the Supreme Court.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. Not everyone was impressed, however. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says it's obvious in which direction Democrats want to take the U.S. Supreme Court.
The solution is not to make the court even more of a super legislature like liberals want, a delegitimizing death spiral that would destroy the rule of law.
On Wall Street, the Dow up by 87 points, the Nasdaq rose 8, the S&P 500 advanced by 19. Oil dropped 20 cents today to close at $96.03 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. More on these stories available at townhall.com.
While the media and political class is obsessed with supporting anything and everything that's outside of America, it's important that we focus on our country, our families, and the businesses which need your support. PatriotMobile.com, the only Christian conservative cell phone company, offers broad nationwide coverage with the same cell phone towers as the major carriers. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, and the U.S. customer support team are superb. Switch today to a company that shares your values and supports organizations fighting for religious freedom, constitutional rights, and sanctity of life. Call 972-PATRIOT, get free activation with offer code GORKA, or go to patriotmobile.com/Gorka. Special extra discounts for veterans and first responders. Support a company that loves America, loves you, and shares your values. That's 972-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/GORKA. Switch today.
Politics have made an impact on the murder trial of an outspoken Saudi journalist. The latest from the Media Line's Michael Friedson.
The legal matter of Jamal Khashoggi's murder has apparently reached a political ending. The Turkish court overseeing the case has transferred the file to its Saudi counterpart, prompting experts to believe the issue has run its course. 26 suspects were on trial in absentia in Istanbul, but the political reality of Riyadh and Ankara seeking to improve relations has proven sufficient to outweigh the legalities. 4 years ago, Khashoggi, an outspoken critic of the Saudi regime, was killed and dismembered in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Investigations, including one by the United States, alleged the killing was ordered by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, a position that until now has been echoed by Turkish President Erdogan. I'm Michael Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We're cooler this evening with a low dropping down to 47. Tomorrow, sunny but breezy. The high getting up to 67. Now for Saturday, we do get the sunshine, but much cooler temperatures. High of only 59. And Saturday night, the low in the upper 30s. Sunday looks wonderful with sunshine-filled skies and a high of 68. I'm Kevin Cohn with your On Point local weather.
W2XL Columbia, W264DF.
Grill, outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Spring sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Come on, hit it. Do it. You know you want to.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
I got our first two finals of Major League Baseball, the new season, in the books. The Royals beat the Guardians 3-1. Be hard to say that. And the Cubs
so bad
beat the Brewers 5-4. And we've got the Cardinals leading the Pirates top of the eighth by a score of 5-0. Major League Baseball, most unusual to have opening day the same day as the opening day of the Masters, taking a back seat to the Masters. No question about it.
And no game in Cincinnati. I mean, they are just ruining all the baseball traditions. I understand why the season started a little bit later, but how do you pull? And I realize Cincinnati's been terrible for years, but that was one of the great traditions to have opening day at Cincinnati at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But now they come and they'll help the Braves celebrate their World Series title in about an hour.
And not, once the Braves take their first loss of the season, probably tonight, they'll no longer be considered World Series champions in my book. I won't be calling them the World Series champion Atlanta Braves moving forward.
Oh, really?
You've had your fun, enjoy it. I know it's you're not like you've got 26 of them like some of us do. So I know it's a unique feeling.
When was the last one for the Yankees?
09.
It's so in distant past.
09.
It's hard to remember.
SEC baseball, bottom of the fourth. Arkansas leading Florida 1-0, and tonight Kentucky, Texas A&M. Let's head out to Augusta as round number one is winding to a close. You've got M at 5 under, Smith and Johnson at 4 under. M is about to wrap up his round if he hasn't already. Maybe they haven't updated this leaderboard.
He's done. Yeah, he has done at 5. He's in the clubhouse.
All right, and Dustin Johnson should be on about 16. He's at 4 under. Cameron Smith is in at 4 under. Don Williams has been there to take it all in on what turned out to be a beautiful afternoon in Augusta. Don, great to have you with us. How are you?
I'm fine, Bill. Sanjay M. finished. He's at 5 under, 1 in front of Cameron Smith. DJ's got a couple of holes to play. But you went through the leaderboard, so I'm not sure what you need me for. It was a nice day in Augusta.
Well, you are our eyes and ears and our legs around Augusta. What did you see? What did you take away from the opening round? Besides, I know you followed Bernhard longer for every single stroke, but besides Bernhard, what else did you see?
Well, I tell you, Phil, I got to be honest with you. I'm going under the knife in a couple of weeks for some hip surgery. So my mobility is not the best, and you know what that golf course is like. And also a little bit of a muddy track today. But the golf course really did look great. If you watched it on television, I don't think you could tell how much rain Augusta National, just like Columbia, had received over the last 48 hours. As always, they did a remarkable job with it. I was surprised that the scores weren't lower. They did get a little bit better toward the middle of the day and early afternoon. This morning, they weren't good at all, primarily because the golf course was playing so long. But it dried out as the day went on with the sunshine and with the wind not being that bad of a factor until about 3 o'clock. So it was almost like we had 3 different days. We had a kind of a cloudy, overcast start, and the scores were high. Then we kind of had nice weather for 3 or 4 hours, and the scores were low. And then here the last 3 hours or so, the wind has really kicked up, and we're starting to see scores a little bit higher. But it was a strange day in terms of some of the names we saw on the leaderboard. Sanjay M., good player. Not a surprise that he would have a good round. A little surprised the way he built it. He went out and birdied the first 3 holes and then fell back to earth. And then he recovered from that and finishes at 5 under par, the only man to get that score other than Cameron Smith, who had the most unusual day of all. Double bogeys the first, double bogeys the last, and has 8 birdies in between. I mean, who does that? But he was certainly, and I think we talked about him last night, because of his play at the Players in Jacksonville and numerous high finishes in the last 6 months. Not a surprise to see him up there, and I think you'll probably see him contending through the weekend along with DJ. Joaquin Neiman is at 3 under par and he's a talented young player who spun one in for an eagle on a par 4, which was pretty remarkable to see. I think it was number 9, if I'm not mistaken. And just a lot of great golf was played today, and not too many terribly high scores, but with the exception of Smith and M, not too many terribly low scores.
Dustin Johnson just dropped a shot. He is back to 3 under. He bogeyed 17, so he's playing 18 right now. So he's at 3 under. So he has taken a shot back. Did you get a chance to walk with him at all, see a little bit of what he had going on?
He was 4 under through the first 8 holes, and a little surprised. But again, as I said, it's played a lot tougher here in the afternoon. So I was surprised. I really thought that when DJ got to 13 and 15, we might see him get it to 5 or 6 under. But, it, like I said, started playing a little bit more difficult and wasn't able to do that. So I'm not surprised at all because I think he's really been playing well the last few weeks. And the one thing, if you saw the match play 2 weeks ago, he was lights out until the final day when all of a sudden he could not buy a putt. So if his putter is halfway working, and probably a lot of the pros can say that, but DJ's kind of a cut above. When everything works for DJ, I still think he's the best player in the game.
Visiting with Don Williams from Augusta National as round 1 of the Masters is wrapping up this afternoon. So it's M at 5, Smith at 4, Willits, Neiman, and Scheffler at 3. And Don, we talked about Scheffler. As you said yesterday, hottest golfer in the world, ranked number 1. He backed it up today. For a guy like him to get off to such a good start in the Masters, 3 under 69, how do you think that plays for him moving forward?
I really, somebody asked me yesterday to give him a couple of picks to help him in his pool. And of course, I don't adhere to any of that gambling kind of stuff.
Of course not.
But I said, my picks are no better than anybody else's. You should have seen where I finished in the NCAA pool. I don't think I had a team in the Final Four. But I told him pick Cameron Smith and pick Scotty Scheffler. And they're, as we just mentioned their names, we talked about them last night. And I think that those two, along with DJ, from this leaderboard we see right now, will definitely be in the mix on Sunday. I don't know if I would say that about Sunjay M, Danny Willett, or Jason Kokrak, although he's a good player. But I definitely think that staying power, we'll see that from Smith and Scheffler and from DJ. I would also add that Will Zalatoris is somebody else that I recommended because he finished second last year. The only knock on him is his putting, and he's really been rolling the ball nicely here the last month or so, and he's 2 under with a couple to play. So I think you'll see Zalatoris through the weekend as well.
Don, you brought up a comparison with regards to the weather and said that the scores early in the day were down because of all the rain overnight, and then throughout the afternoon it got worse because of the wind. In Augusta's defense, those greens are pretty much their defense. So if it rained every day or if the wind just blew every day, in your opinion and in your years of experience down there, which is the more difficult conditions to play in?
Oh, there's no question that wind is the biggest defense at Augusta National. And it'll be very interesting with all the sun and wind that we've had today. This course will dry out fairly quickly. The greens were not as receptive as I thought they would be, and they're going to be even less so with each day that passes. And we're supposed to have high winds, very high winds tomorrow, again, particularly in the afternoon. And then on Saturday, the winds are supposed to be about like they were today. Sunday is supposed to be relatively calm, which is really, if you're growing up a tournament, that's exactly what you want because you want them to be tested. You want to separate the wheat from the chaff the first 3 days. And then on Sunday, you want it to be lights out so people can go birdie and eagle hunting. And I think that's the way it's going to play out.
Separate the what from the what?
Well, Phil, I'm sorry I was talking over your head again. I try not to do that. I apologize.
I didn't realize you had farming in your background. I mean, I know, you spent some time in Mullins, but that's pretty good.
2009, Phil. Do you realize how long ago that was?
Pretty good ways.
Yes,
Pretty good ways. You haven't mentioned Tiger. Just your thoughts on his day to go out and do what he did. And, I mean, you're suffering with a hip. He's suffering with a leg. Not that, your hip is more important than his leg. But you know what it's like to walk out there like that. What do you think about what he did?
I thought he played remarkably well. I don't think he struck the ball as well as he can. And to walk away one under par is phenomenal. He made it really is. He made his short game was pretty sharp and had to be, with the exception of the ugly bogey he made on number 8. He had to, because he missed a number of greens, so he chipped it and he putted it really well. I don't think he drove it particularly well, but all in all, I think with what the game that he brought to the course today, a 71 was really good. I really thought that I saw him noticeably limping around 8, 9, which are tough walking holes. I didn't see as much of him as he came in on the last 4 or 5 holes, so I don't know if it got worse. But, it was obviously bothering him a little bit. So, again, the question will be, can he hold up for 4 days? But I thought it was a very, very good first round, considering, again, how he struck the ball.
Well, it's very sad when great athletes start breaking down, Don. And, of course, I'm talking about you, not Tiger. So I hope that hip feels better.
Well, I think I haven't had surgery in forever. So it's going to be an interesting experience, but I'm looking forward to being able to move around a little bit. I haven't played golf in like 8 months. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that again.
Okay, sir. Well, we'll talk to you tomorrow, and we wish you well until then.
All right, Phil. Take care.
Thank you. Definition of separate the wheat from the chaff, to judge which people or things in a group are bad and which ones are good.
You learn something every night here on Sports Talk.
Had you heard that before?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
I actually did not know what it meant.
Yeah.
There are certain phrases out there you just accept and kind of have an idea as to where they're appropriate. So I knew that part, but I had no idea what it meant. So I appreciate you looking that up.
Don's highly educated.
Indeed.
He was smart enough to hire me. Tells you something about his education right there. So, all right. Thank you, Don. We're going to hear from Tiger Woods coming up. We're going to hear from MJ Ward coming up as well after the break. Why don't we go to the break and do that, and we'll come back and hear from Tiger Woods. We'll get you recruiting as well. Little Mark Kingston, little Tony Pena Jr. as well as the Fireflies are set to open their season tomorrow. They got a homestand to open up the regular season. You had a chance, Chris, to talk to their manager. We'll have that as well coming up. So a busy stretch ahead here on Sports Talk. Back in a moment. Don't go away.
The countdown is on, and Columbia Fireflies baseball is right around the corner. Join us at Seger Park for Fireflies opening night Friday, April 8th at 7:05 p.m. as the Fireflies battle in-state rival Atlanta Braves affiliate, the Augusta Green Jackets. Make sure to stick around after the game for a fireworks spectacular. Fireflies opening weekend continues Saturday, April 9th with our royal celebration and another post-game fireworks show. Bring the whole family for Sunday Funday where kids can run the bases after the game. Tickets start at just $5. Visit FirefliesTickets.com to get your tickets today.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
The lady in black doesn't hate her.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
Sports fans, are you in it to win it? Join South Carolina's fight against COVID-19 by getting your vaccine today. Vaccines are safe and will help stabilize school operations by bringing us back together safely. The CDC recommends everyone 5 years and older get vaccinated. Visit scdhec.gov/VaxLocator or call 866-365-8110 to find a vaccination station near you.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Chris Bergen in a little bit is going to share a secret with us that nobody else knows. We'll get to that in a little bit. Here's a little Tiger Woods. I was looking for some post-round Tiger, and I found an interview he did on, looks like Sky News. So, obviously, it's probably a good-looking babe with a foreign accent doing the interview.
So is he not talking to American media anymore?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm
Were
sure
we
there
too
are
harsh
others,
to him?
but this is just the one that I found, and it sounds good. So here we go. Tiger Woods talking about his round with somebody.
Tiger, you did it. So much hard work went into getting back today. Before we get into today's round, how proud are you of this achievement?
I am. I'm proud of my whole team. We worked so hard. People have no idea how hard we worked each and every day. I've alluded to this before. We've never taken a day off, and so once I got out of the bed after those 3 months, there was no days off. Granted, there were easier days than others. My leg didn't work that well that day. We did upper body, but we did something every single day, and that led me to this opportunity to be able to play in the Masters. And lo and behold, here we are. And as of right now, I'm only 3 back. So, granted, we got a long way to go. I mean, this is a marathon, and a lot of things going to happen. The weather's going to change. The golf course is going to dry out. It's going to get interesting. So it's nice to get off to a positive start.
A positive start in the red, 1 under par. Lots of highlights out there today, but one of them has to be that birdie at 16. How nice is it to hear the roars from the patrons again?
Yeah, that was a good one. I got a little teach from Louis' putt. It slowed up pretty good at the end, and it snapped. And I've hit that putt in a practice round, and I've always underread it. And it was good to get that kind of an affirmation from Louis that putt does snap at the end. So I gave it an extra, probably a ball and a half outside the right, and poured it right in the middle.
Lastly, tomorrow you have an afternoon tee time. Not only the next 12 hours, but just this week in general. How has the recovery process looked? What have you done when you've left the golf course every day to enable yourself to tee it up here this week?
Well, lots of treatment, lots of hopping in ice baths, and just shivering and suffering, and just it's awful, but it allows me to recover. But then it's just the process on both sides. And as I alluded to in the press conference, it's both sides of it. It's pre and post. They've gotten longer. And I thought they were long enough when I came back from my back issues. Now they're even longer. So, but my team's done an incredible job of getting me ready to have an opportunity for me to get this thing rolling. And, I said, hey, guys, once you just get me to this point, my adrenaline will kick in. I'll know what to do. I know how to play golf, and I know how to play this golf course. So just let's just try and get me to this point, and then I'll take it from there.
You did today. Good, well played.
Thanks.
All right, Tiger Woods, and he's got to feel great. He's well within reach of the lead, 1 under par. Played himself into a situation where he doesn't have to, break his back to get back into it tomorrow. Going to have an afternoon tee time. We'll see how the winds are. I know, like that Harbor Town, the afternoon the winds are worse. Of course, this isn't a similar setting. Whatever front is moving through tomorrow, we'll see if it comes through early, if it comes through midday or late. That's going to impact a lot of the golfers out there tomorrow. Just the luck of the draw as to when you're out there, and it's going to have the impact on whoever happens to be on the course when it's at its strongest. They're talking about gusts of, 20, 25 miles an hour tomorrow.
Yeah, and watch CBS try and move Tiger's time around so he gets to play in the pristine time so that he'll be into the weekend and make the cut.
Well, he's got to play when they tell him to play. I don't think CBS. I'm going to say this about the Masters. You got a problem with the Masters.
I have no problem with the Masters.
The thing about the Masters,
I just think it's so ridiculous.
I admired the Masters.
I would love to hear this.
The Masters gave the finger to everybody many years ago. When they were having problems with the women and the membership, and women were going to boycott, and they were calling on their sponsors to boycott. You know what they did? They said, we won't run any commercials. We'll take the pressure off of our sponsors, and we'll go commercial free. We just won't run any commercials. But you're not going to tell us what to do. Okay, like it or not, you might not like their policies, okay. But it is a private club. They have the right to make their policies. Now, they've come around in a lot of different ways. But, but that's their decision. And they just said, you're not going to dictate to us, just like for so many years, they wouldn't let television dictate to them. For most of its existence, they would not allow television to televise the front side, the first 9. Got to be careful.
Two things you just said right there are ridiculous.
Well, they just
first off, you can't call it the front 9, and secondly, they wouldn't allow TV to broadcast the front. Really,
they wanted some mystique. But eventually, of course, with ESPN and all the coverage, and it opened up, of course, and now you see everything. But that was one of the things, which made it mystical. Which made it mystical because you'd sit there on a Sunday waiting for the Masters to come on CBS, and you really didn't know what was happening on the first 10 or 11 or 12 holes until they came on the air. So that was really kind of neat, to be quite honest with you.
But if you want to know the biggest beef I have with Tiger Woods is what we just did. He's tied for 11th, and we treated him as if he's the leader after the first round.
Well, first of all, I doubt we could understand. I shouldn't say anything. I don't. First of all,
Sanjay M does not speak a very, very comfortable English because I just watched this post round and he's got his interpreter.
Yeah, so he just finished up. And the other guy's just finishing up. So, Tiger was finished, so we were able to get his audio. But really, do you want to hear from Sanjay M or do you want to hear from Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods is the story.
That's the problem. He's not going to win, though. That's what bothers me every time he's in a golf tournament.
He's not going to win? He's only 4 shots back.
He is not going. I'll put money on it right now. Tiger Woods will not win the Masters.
You're sucking me into this, but
I'm going to buy you. I'll buy you a tea. I'll buy you a tea over at.
You're going to buy me lunch at Seawell's.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'll
now
buy
when
you
he doesn't
lunch
win, when he doesn't win,
Seawell's.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put a Seawell's lunch on it.
I like this.
Delicious daily luncheon buffet, 11
you
to 2.
better hope he grabs the lead quick because he's not good even in his heyday.
I'll make it even
he wasn't
better.
good coming from behind.
We'll make it a roast beef Friday
when
we do it, okay? So I'm taking Tiger against the field.
Okay, I'll take the field every time.
Your bets.
And real quick, to back up 1 second, too, I don't know if y'all saw the interview yesterday. Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley actually came out and said that he thought one of Augusta's biggest mistakes was not allowing women in sooner. But remember, Hootie Johnson was the chairman at the time, and he actually said, unquote, that he would not allow them even at the point of a bayonet.
Times have changed. Times have changed. That kind of thinking, of course, is dying out, has died out. But my point is, they had the spine to say, you're not going to force us to do it. If we have to go non-commercial. And they did.
Yep.
Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We're cooler this evening with a low dropping down to 47. Tomorrow, sunny but breezy. The high getting up to 67. Now for Saturday, we do get the sunshine, but much cooler temperatures. High of only 59. And Saturday night, the low in the upper 30. Sunday looks wonderful with sunshine-filled skies and a high of 68. I'm Kevin Cohn with your on-point local weather.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Aiken-Cochran. As Miss America, I know that taking care of yourself is important. Part of taking care of your health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is serious and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. 90% of South Carolinians who have it don't know they have it. Visit inittogethersc.org. Take an online test to find out your risk and join a diabetes prevention program. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
The thing about me taking it is I am super healthy to begin with. I don't have any medical problems whatsoever. But I can tell you what I did notice was my hair, my skin, and my nails. They're even better. That is definitely noticeable. But I think the main thing I could say for it, and the reason I keep taking it, is because it keeps me healthy. I mean, I'm sold on it, and I'll always take it because it just keeps me in a healthy state.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code BALANCE.
When it comes to firearms, ammunition, and accessories, some things are changing. Well, fortunately, some things haven't changed a bit. I'm talking all about Shooter's Choice in West Columbia. What has never and will never change is the customer service. Top-notch with the staff that has decades of experience in the firearms industry. This staff actually hunts and shoots regularly. For over 30 years, Shooter's Choice has never lost that hometown feel and never felt like shopping at some big box store. What has changed? Well, technology. If you'd rather spend your money on firearms than gas, go online to shooterschoicesc.com and check out a great website that's easy to navigate 24/7. Be the first to get items as they are received at the store. Be the first to get that newest production model ordered before it even enters the retail store. Come pick it up at your convenience. Sign up for notifications of new products and special inventory. It's all at shooterschoicesc.com. So come on in and see the team at Shooter's Choice, 944 Sunset Boulevard, or visit online. Either way, you'll see what I'm talking about. Make your first choice, your best choice. Make it Shooter's Choice.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The year is 1971, and Sudeth Automotive is providing affordable and reliable auto repair to Columbia. Fast forward 50 years and not much has changed. Time and time again, customer after customer, Sudeth Automotive has proven to be one of the best repair shops in Columbia. With our well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials, we just keep getting better with time. Call us, come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue, or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
If you're like me, you're sick and tired of seeing these old TV stars, game show hosts, these athletes telling you how to save money on your Medicare and on your health insurance. These national toll-free numbers are overwhelming us. It's not that people don't need the service. They need good local customer service, not big box toll-free numbers. See, I work directly with Tim Hanberry right here at Medicare Blueprint in the Midlands. When it comes to my family, I want the best family plan. I'm not even on Medicare, but my mom is, so here's what I do want. Someone local to serve as my advisor on the plans and choices that I have, and someone to help mom with her Medicare. I want someone to help me pick the right plan, save me as much money as possible by knowing all the rules of the game. Medicare Blueprint starts the process with you. They will see it through. They answer all your questions. They call you back. It's the same folks helping you start to finish. Tim and his team are independent. They fight for you, not the insurance company. Online, it's MedicareBlueprint.com or call them 708-7398.
momentarily in just a couple of minutes. We want to give you the recruiting report for tonight. It is brought to you by Seawells. As we mentioned earlier, the daily luncheon buffet every day, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow is a roast beef Friday, is it not, to celebrate the Friday the Masters?
Your favorite corn. It'll be a little RBF presented by Seawells tomorrow, Friday, April the 8th, along with Southern Fried Chicken, fried flounder, salad, all the fixins, and dessert.
I'm not eating.
Wow.
See, I'm taking K-Mac out for lunch tomorrow to celebrate the Lakers' elimination from not just the playoffs. They didn't even make the play-in tournament. How bad
That's
do you have to
embarrassing.
be?
I don't know.
So to celebrate, I'm taking K-Mac out for lunch tomorrow because I know he's in the doldrums. But I'm not going to eat anything from I eat lunch. I'm not going to eat anything until tomorrow so I can really pile it on tomorrow. You can do the same thing. Don't hesitate. Take my word for it. It is well worth the little trip over to Seawells across from the state fairgrounds. And, of course, the very best in the catering business, the folks at Seawells, they've been doing it for over 70 years. Name me anybody who's done anything for more than 70 years. And I'll tell you, they've done it well, or they wouldn't have been in business for 70-plus years.
Especially the restaurant
SeawellsCateringSC.com. Say what, sir?
And I said, especially, the restaurant business.
Correct.
That's one of the most difficult areas of service that we have, and to be able to stay in the restaurant business for that long is remarkable.
803-771-7385 is the number. So South Carolina missed on a top running back prospect in Benjamin Hall, Sewanee, Georgia. He committed to Michigan, so they continue to look over prospects. Dante Dowdle is one they've offered, 6'2", 215, Picayune, Mississippi. Ontario Hardesty and area recruiter Jody Wright contacted him with the offer middle of last month. He liked getting it. He says it's a good team, good program. He hasn't been there. They want him to visit. He's going to try, if he can, to get there for a visit. He's got some other schools he's planning to visit as well. They like him because he is a big physical back at 6'2", 215. He did some checking on USC and liked the fact that they've produced some really good running backs over the years, in his opinion. He has been to Ole Miss, Oregon, Georgia Tech, Florida State, also looking at Arkansas and Cincinnati for visits, but nothing scheduled. Some other offers are Tennessee, Louisville, Temple, Minnesota. Last season, 2,554 yards and 28 touchdowns. According to Justin Byerly of Hoop Scene, former Gray Collegiate standout Jawan Carter of Alabama is in the transfer portal and has heard from USC and Clemson, among others. USC's in the top 8 with linebacker Semaj Bridgman, Philadelphia. The others are Georgia, Penn State, Rutgers, Jackson State, Florida, West Virginia, Oregon. Buford defensive tackle Amon Small was at Clemson yesterday. Linebacker Tony Rojas was at Clemson yesterday. He was at USC with his teammates today. Clemson target receiver Ronan Hannafin, offered by Southern Cal and Oklahoma. Camden defensive tackle Xavier McLeod plans to visit Georgia Monday, Tuesday, and he plans to release a top 10 a week from today. USC target running back Trayon Webb will go to Tennessee this weekend, as will another Gamecock target, cornerback Jeremiah Anglin. 2024 receiver Ziggy Holloway of Tallahassee, Alabama, plans to visit USC this weekend. USC target tight end Connor Cox was offered by Minnesota. 2024 linebacker Cam Haynes of Flowery Branch, Georgia, visited USC this week. He was at Clemson last Saturday, also been by North Carolina and Duke. USC offered 2025 corner Tariq Hayer, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. 2025 athlete Benjamin Chandler of Forestville, Maryland, was offered by the Gamecocks. He has also been to Clemson. He was there earlier in the week. Clemson target cornerback Braden Marshall plans to visit UCF today. Athlete Zaire Campbell of Sumter, offered by Furman. Dutch Fork quarterback Alien Appler visiting Delaware this weekend. Defensive tackle Calvin Harvin of Sumter was at USC this week. Tight end Cameron Perfitter, 6'2", 210 of Greenville High, plans to visit Clemson Saturday for the Tigers' spring game. Linebacker Mantrez Walker of Buford, Georgia, plans to visit USC next Thursday. He's in the 2025 class. Hilton Head defensive tackle Chris Marable committed to Wake Forest. 2025 linebacker Jaden Perlow of Buford, Georgia, visited USC today. Former USC guard Devin Carter is down to Arkansas, UConn, Providence, UNLV, LSU, and Oregon. That's according to a basketball recruiting reporter, Joe Tipton. And I think we've covered everything with that. Last night, the USC baseball team got an impressive win against North Carolina in Charlotte. 15-2, the final score. The Gamecocks just dominated from the start. Had a chance to talk with Coach Mark Kingston after the ball game about that win, looking ahead to the series with Georgia.
Great night for your team tonight. So many things to like. Where do you want to start?
I think you have to start with Eli Jones. Again, one of our pitchers coming back from injury. Last week was his first outing back after about a year, and he struggled. I think he showed some character tonight against a ranked team, a very good offense. Stuff was good. He was up to 93 and threw up 2 zeros there for us. I thought that set the tone for our offense, gave our offense a chance to relax a little bit and just go to work.
Your offense came out from the get. I mean, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, and 6-0. You had to love the way your guys offensively were aggressive.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that was the plan tonight. Be aggressive. We knew we were going to face a lot of pitchers tonight. Just much like us, they were going to throw a lot of pitchers, and so just wanted to take good at bats against everybody they threw out there. I thought our guys did a really nice job.
No Braswell tonight, just giving him a night off?
Yeah, needed a day off. He'd been struggling lately, and I thought Jack Mahoney really sparked us out there tonight with that 3-run homer against the lefty. So it was great to see a lot of people contribute today.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, with what you saw out there, what does it do to some of your plans moving forward when you think about some of the performances you saw tonight?
Yeah, we'll have to. I mean, again, we tell guys all the time, when you get your opportunity, if you play well, you're going to force us to really evaluate your position some more. So Mahoney, I thought Mahoney's at bat against the lefty was very key. He struggled a little bit against the righties, so it's good insight into the player there about the best way to probably use him.
You had to really like, I think, maybe the way your guys were zoned in tonight. For example, you turned up that 3-6-1 double play. I mean, those aren't easy. Do you turn those very often in practice?
No, you don't. I mean, you work on it, but you don't expect it to be started from a first baseman on his knees. So it was a really good play. We had missed the opportunity on that earlier in the game, but the guys responded well. Aiden, I thought one of the keys of the game was when we didn't turn the double play for Aiden. He minimized the damage and didn't allow them to score, and ended up getting 5 outs that inning. So I thought that was one of the key moments in the game.
Were you hoping not to have to go as deep in your pen as to Austin tonight, or was that part of your plan to get to him?
Well, we just knew, after he struggled against Missouri in that Saturday game, I thought it was really important to get him back up on the horse, and we knew we wouldn't win the game tonight unless he contributed pretty significantly. The last time he pitched that well was against the Citadel a couple weeks ago, and we just knew to beat a North Carolina team, which is a ranked team, and again, it's going to be a good RPI win. It's going to matter at the end. We needed to use him, and maybe we can bring him back Sunday.
Last thing, of course, you always say, everybody knows baseball, momentum is the next pitcher. So you go to this Georgia series coming up, but coming off this kind of a win, what do you think it does for your guys?
Well, I agree. Momentum is your next starting pitcher, and Noah Hall has been better for us as of late, but Georgia's really good. We know that. They're coming off a tough loss last night, so they'll be primed and ready to go. But anytime this club we have right now, anytime this club has a chance to feel good about something, you want to try to help them build on it. So hopefully that's what today is.
All right, there you go. Georgia's ranked, top 15 or so, top 10, but they do hit the ball well, 293 team batting average, but their ERA is 4.5, almost 4.6, and they don't really stand out in any particular statistical category outside, I guess, of that 293 batting average, which is pretty good. But I mean, that's still 8th in the SEC, but they're 10th in the league in slugging percentage. They lead the league in strikeouts in terms of not their pitchers, but their hitters have struck out more than anybody else in the league. So their statistics don't blow you away, but I mean, they are who they are. They are ranked. Now, one of their pitchers I saw is out for the weekend series. Did you see that, Chris?
I did not.
Yeah, I got to go back and look. And let's go to the break, and I'll look for this thing. But one of their starting pitchers, I tweeted this out earlier today, one of their starting pitchers was being out because of an injury. So he'll be missing for this weekend. It's supposed to be Noah Hall against Nolan Crisp tomorrow night, and then Will Sanders against Garrett Brown on Saturday, and then on Sunday, it's Matthew Becker against Liam Sullivan. Let's see if I can find the name of that pitcher. And MJ Ward's going to join us after the break. We'll be right back.
The countdown is on, and Columbia Fireflies baseball is right around the corner. Join us at Segment Park for Fireflies opening night Friday, April 8th at 7:05 p.m. as the Fireflies battle in-state rival Atlanta Braves affiliate, the Augusta Green Jackets. Make sure to stick around after the game for a fireworks spectacular. Fireflies opening weekend continues Saturday, April 9th with our Royal Celebration and another post-game fireworks show. Bring the whole family for Sunday Funday where kids can run the bases after the game. Tickets start at just $5. Visit FirefliesTickets.com to get your tickets today.
The lady in black doesn't age.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Lawson, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dream. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to FutureScholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. FutureScholar.com.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut of Sports Talk here with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. What words of wisdom do you have for those hitting the water this summer?
Phil, collisions can be prevented easily if every vessel operator fulfills three major responsibilities. One, practice good seamanship. It's the responsibility of every boat or PWC operator to take all necessary action to avoid a collision. Two, keep a proper lookout. Failing to keep a sharp lookout is the most common cause of boating collisions. And finally, maintain a safe speed. Remember, boat safe, boat smart.
Probably the song played more than any other song in America this week. It's the theme song to Augusta National, CBS's coverage, I guess. That thing's played everywhere. We're down to the last grouping. They're on the 18th. That would be Fitzpatrick, who's even par, McElroy, who's at +1, and Koepka, who's at +2. So you got M at 5, Smith at 4, Willett, Neiman, Scheffler, and Dustin Johnson. At the top of the leaderboard at 3, Kokrak is 2, Connors and Cantlay are at 2. Your ones are Higgs, Knob, Berger, Finau, Simpson, Varner the third, Zalatoris, and of course a guy named Tiger.
Did you know there are lyrics to that song, Augusta?
No, it's not.
Written by Dave Loggins back in 1981.
Loggins and Messina?
Look.
That's Kenny Loggins.
Yes, this is Dave Loggins, yes, after attending the Masters.
How are you going to tell us that, not sing a verse, Chris?
I can read you a verse, but I think MJ is much more
Let's go to
entertaining at
MJ.
this point in time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time is money in this world. We welcome MJ Ward back with us, golf journalist covering the world of golf around the world. We thank you once again for joining us. How was your day at Augusta?
Well, it was good, and to answer your question that you were just talking about, Dave Loggins. Not only there are lyrics, and he actually sung the lyrics for a very short time, and I think the folks at Augusta said, you know what, we'll just go with the melody and leave out. They figured it was a good enough plug for him getting on a telecast that's watched by a lot of people. But I think if memory serves, I believe they had him sing, and I think they cut that out not too long there. One thing about Augusta National, you know where you stand when you're basically eliminated. Okay, so it's like it's like an addition by subtraction situation.
Yeah, they don't mess around. They get right to the point with you, don't they?
Well, I mean, you could certainly send a message to Gary McCord. He understands that, and so does Jack Whitaker probably. So, I mean,
Well,
they
you know
all
what's
face-
funny? We were talking, Chris and I, and he corrected me earlier this week because I said back nine, and he jumped in and said second nine. And I'm listening to Masters Radio today, and I can't remember which of their field reporters it was, but he was out on the field and he was doing his report, and he said back nine. Then he quickly caught himself and said second nine. So, I mean, little verbal missteps like that can be costly at a place like Augusta.
Well, I mean, historically, when Jack Whitaker, not to go off the beaten track here, but when Jack Whitaker said it, there was a playoff in 1967. They were finishing the 18th hole, and he said, "Well, look at the mob coming up the 18th fairway." I can tell you, Clifford Roberts must have dropped the martini right there when he heard those words, probably. So, and I'm sure Jack Whitaker probably heard about it from the Paley family of CBS back in the day. But no, they want to create a certain product, and when you have a 1-year contract like CBS does, you will jump through whatever hoops are necessary to maintain having that kind of event on your schedule. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it is.
So, did you zone in on Tiger today, or did you split your time between him and others? What'd you do?
No, I wanted to see Tiger, and the bottom line with him today was I don't think people have a real good appreciation of the mental strength, because he did not really hit the ball, really, really well. I mean, out of a total of 18 greens, he only hit 9 in regulation. He had 8 out of 14 fairways. But here's the key stat. He only had 27 putts. And if you watched his round, I mean, he was very fortunate on the 18th hole that his tee shot, which he pulled left, got through the trees that were on that side. And then he was able to then make a pitch and a putt for par from 78 yards. He knocked it up there about 6 feet away, and then he made the putt. I mean, he made the most of what he could do, and his short game kept him in the game. I mean, really what's amazing about Tiger Woods is he grinded around today to get the score that he got. If you gave that round to other players, in all probability, they would have been at least 2 to 3 over par, maybe even more. But he made the most of his round. My main concern with Tiger is going into tomorrow, he's going to be playing really towards the end of the day, and the wind pattern is going to be really picking up tomorrow. The only plus that he has is he finished early enough that he can have enough time to hopefully recuperate to come back. But, look, when you consider where this guy was 14 months ago, and if we had said last night that you're going to see Tiger Woods break par on a return round to Augusta after 508 days sitting out competitive golf, you would have made a fortune today in Las Vegas on the sports book. I mean, so he did what he had to do. The question is now is how does he go through each and every day, going all the way through, and hopefully he'll be able to make the cut. And if that should happen, how will he be able to react to different weather conditions and through the struggle of going the extra 54 holes? I mean, that's a matter of discussion, and we shall see how that plays out.
Do you know if he was able to go to the range after his round to work on some things, or did he go directly to rehab?
From my understanding was he did his obligatory interviews and then, was on his way to, with Tiger Woods, it's sort of like a starting pitcher. There's only going to be so many pitches that he's going to go to. The only difference between with baseball and golf is there's no relief pitcher coming. I mean, you're the guy. But I think he has a great, he's mentioned it a couple of times. And I mean, certainly, look, he has the wherewithal to connect with some of the best people to get his body as well as it can be. But when you just consider where this guy was at, to come back and shoot below par, I mean, his short game today was just simply marvelous stuff. I mean, he kept himself in the hunt, and clearly, look, tomorrow's another day, and we're going to find out how he handles it. But it's going to get tough. I mean, tomorrow the wind pattern should be anywhere between 20 to 25, steady in the late afternoon period. Today was about 10 to 15, but you also had the sun out. The early part of the day, there was a little bit of fog and cloud cover, and then all of a sudden the sun broke out. But the reality is that, it was an exceptional day for him the score below par. I would think there are very, very few people who would have thought that would have been possible. So he's, one has to tip one's hat to him. But, now it's about how do you play the next 54 holes? And I know he's going to be taking it one day at a time. He's not going to get way ahead of himself. That's what makes Tiger Woods Tiger Woods. He stays in the moment, and he'll try to go forward from here with that in mind.
All right, a few more minutes here with MJ Ward, Matt Ward from Augusta National. Have we ever had a Masters leaderboard where in the top 10, two of the leaders had only two letters in their last name? You've got M leading and Na tied for 10th. That's got to be a first.
Well, what's amazing is that, with Sung J M, I mean, especially as an example, a lot of attention has been paid to the Korean women because they have been obviously they've been the top performers in women's golf. I mean, if you look at the rankings, but on the flip side, on the men's side, with the exception of maybe KJ Choi as an example, the Korean men are now starting to get into the mix. And, keep in mind, this guy's only 24 years old. He's been playing professionally now about 4 years, give or take. And he's a solid performer. And the Korean men, now are starting to, make their way into the process of what's going to go on here. He's no stranger to doing this. I mean, he came in second with Cameron Smith back in 2020 when DJ won the event. There's going to be a lot of moving parts with this leaderboard, and I think you saw it today. I mean, Cameron Smith double bogeyed the first hole. He makes 8 birdies after that point, and then he double bogeys the last hole. So a lot of things can happen here. I mean, anybody who's, remotely within, say, 6-7 shots of the lead, you're never really out of it, per se. But the weather conditions are going to turn, and that's going to make a dramatic difference in terms of who's going to be in what spot and what will be the final round, what will be the final cut for tomorrow.
Yeah, I love the seriousness and your thoroughness and your professionalism, but you totally missed my joke. My joke was two guys with two letters in their last name, M and Na. I mean, I was hoping that Na would get the second, so you'd have M and Na, 1, 2. You get it? 2 letters, last name, joke. You missed it.
Well, I tell you what, I think you guys should go back to discussing the Loggins song and whether or not they were I think you were going down a better path in that direction.
Good point. Let me ask you real quick. Let me ask you real quick. Hate to break in. We got about a minute. Tell us about Dustin Johnson's day. He was clean on his card until 17. Yeah. What'd you think of his day?
Well, I think DJ was in a great position to go even further, but he didn't birdie either the 13th hole, which he laid up on, which is inexplicable. I mean, he was in a position to go for the green. Long and the short of it is, Dustin Johnson is a relevant player, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he puts the second jacket on at Augusta, but there's a lot of golf left, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of different names coming and going with the leaderboard being what it is. But DJ, it seems to be he's back on form for sure.
You have yourself a great night. We thank you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Guys, be safe. Have a good day, and I'll make sure to send an email to Dave Loggins that you mentioned. All right?
Do that.
Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much. It's great stuff. Yeah, M and Na in the top.
Phil,
10.
let it go. If you have to explain the joke, unfortunately, it was just not that funny.
By the way, I have to tell your secret now. Can I tell your secret real quick?
Yes.
Well, Chris has informed me. Chris, back in his youth, was a manager on the USC basketball team, and he dares tell us that the players who supposedly were signing basketballs, it was actually the managers signing those basketballs, not using the players' names.
Mm-hmm. Not all the time, but it did happen, and it's been 30 years ago, so I think the statute of limitations has run out. So my point in telling this
Jimmy
is
Foster autographed basketball is no good?
No, I was going to say if you have any autograph, make sure you saw the person sign it.
Gotcha.
That's the advice I can give you.
We've enjoyed it. Hope you have as well. We'll do it again tomorrow night. We'll throw in some NASCAR, too, and a whole bunch more. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.